Hello good friends of YouTube, this is Simon from GAMEZOMATIK and welcome back to the channel. And it's been quite a while since I've been on the old tubes doing a video, but I thought it's about time that I came back and showed my face and tried to squeeze at least one little video out while I could. Now, the last couple of videos that I've done, I've talked a lot about collecting for 7th gen, and I'm trying to finish that 7th gen collection off, especially the 360 stuff. The 360 was my primary console of the 7th gen, even though I had a PS3 as well, and I dipped in and out. I bought a lot of exclusives like Uncharted and Infamous and things like that on the PS3. Out of both of the consoles of that generation, the Xbox 360 was the first one I got, and probably remained my favourite one, mainly because even though it wasn't the most powerful of the two consoles, it was the one that most games did in full 1080p. I'm being quite lucky in having a full 1080p television from pretty much early on in the HD cycle. I always kind of went for the best graphical solution I could, next to PC obviously, because I do play PC games as well. But I do kind of prefer consoles in some ways. I prefer PC gaming in some ways. I play a lot of strategy games and things like that on the PC, but when it comes to something where I can just throw the disc in and play, I do prefer the consoles. Now, quite recently I upgraded my PlayStation 4 hard drive. I've got a Pro with a 1TB drive, and I had an external terabyte drive of another 1TB. And I was lucky enough to get my hands on an external 2TB drive, so I've put that on my PlayStation Pro, which is great. That gives me an overall capacity of 3TB on the Pro, which I haven't managed to fill up yet. I've got pretty much all my games installed on there. I think I've still got around about 500 gig left, and with not that many games coming out now for the PS4, and with it coming to the end of its life cycle, I think that will probably do me okay and last me. So I had a 1TB drive spare left over, and I thought what I'd do is I'd stick it on my Xbox 360, because you can add external drives to Xbox 360. Now, I already had a 500 gig drive on the Xbox 360, but I wouldn't even say I even had half of my games installed. So I really wanted that extra capacity for two reasons primarily. For one, it takes the wear and tear off the disc. Once you install the game from the disc, it pretty much runs off the hard drive. It just uses the disc as a key to play that game. And the second reason was less wear and tear. You know, once I've initially installed the games on the hard drive, it's less wear and tear on the 360 itself, on the laser, because you only really are using the discs once, and then obviously just to, as like I said, the key to unlock the game on the hard drive once you've installed it. So I spent the last couple of days installing games. Well, I wouldn't say the last couple of days, off and on. It's been a bit of a process over maybe a week and a half of installing all my Xbox 360 games to the hard drives themselves. I'll just go to the menu and show you. Go to system and go to storage. As you can see, I've got two devices. I've got the internal hard drive, which I've got 13 gig free. You need to leave a bit of room on that, because any games that are downloaded off Xbox Live, you can't download onto the USB drive. It's got to go to the internal hard drive. But any games that you've got on disc, you can install on the USB storage device. As you can see, I've got 353 gigs still free, so you know there's enough there for probably at least another 100 games should I want to add to the 360 collection. And I pretty much got everything I pretty much want now anyway. I think there's probably maybe 20 to 25 games now I need to pick up for the 360, and I think I'm done. And there's a couple that I've got on the PS3 that I've been swapping out for 360 simply because of this reason, and because graphically some of the games that were only 720p on the PS3 run at full 1080p on the 360. So we'll just go back to my games, and I thought what I'd do is I'd just go through the games. So far I've managed to install 208 disc games, which is pretty much nearly every one I've got, I think. There's a couple that I couldn't install. There is the odd 360 game that won't install to the hard drive. Deus Ex Human Revolution. I've got the director's cut of that. You cannot install that game to the hard drive. I don't know why, but it won't let you. And another game was the Serious Sam collection. Again, that won't install to the hard drive, which is a pity really, because that's one game that could probably do with installing to the hard drive, because it does have a little bit of lag on it when it's reading from the disc, especially on Serious Sam 3. But you know, I think there's one or two others as well, but the majority of Xbox 360 games do install straight to the hard drive. So I'm just going to go through the games really and just talk about them. Yeah, I thought it might be interesting to do that, so yeah, I'm just going to go through them. So this is pretty much my entire 360 collection up to now. The other way doing it this way, even though I did a 360 collection video a while ago, not that long ago actually, probably maybe 6-7 months ago I think I did one, but I bought so much extra stuff since then, trying to round off that 7th gen collection, because I tell you what, these 360 games are getting a lot harder to find, especially if you want them in good condition with manuals. The way some people treat their games is just beyond, you know. Going to places like cash converters or cash generators, and you know, they have still quite a large selection of 360 games, but Jesus Christ, it looks like someone's you know, got a piece of sandpaper out and just gone to work on some of these games. I can't actually believe the shop's still selling in that condition. CEX as well, you know, the amount of times I've taken a game that's in relatively new condition to CEX and they've gone, no, we can't take it, it's got a tiny scratch on it. Yeah, I've bought games from CEX that I've had to take back because they're absolutely caked in crap and just covered in scratches and everything, you know, so who knows. So yeah, we'll just get straight to the games. So the first game is 007 Legends. I'm probably looking to pick up 007 GoldenEye and Bloodstone as well on the 360. They're two games I have got, but I've got them on the PlayStation 3. And like I said, a lot of those games I've got on PS3. I'm going to maybe swap out for Xbox 360 versions, just so I can have more than one place. And probably keep the PS3 just for PS3 exclusives or games that you can't get on anything else. I've got some downloaded stuff as well on the PlayStation 3, so you know, use it for that. But essentially, if I can get it on the 360, I'll probably try and pick up on that. But yeah, I've got 007 Legends, fantastic shooter. Got slated when it came out, and I don't know why. I think it was a really good idea to take each level represents a different era of Bond. So you know, you've got Moonraker from the Roger Moore era. I think you've got Tomorrow Never Dies from, I think it's Tomorrow Never, or is it Die Another Day? I think it's Die Another Day from Brosnan. You've got Goldfinger there, you know, from Sean Connery, and then you've got Skyfall from Daniel Craig. And on Her Majesty's Secret Service is in there as well, and each sort of section of the game is based on a different era of Bond. I'm trying to remember what the other one was. I think it's The Living Daylights is the other one, but a fantastic Bond game, very much underrated, so that's worth picking up. Next game is Ace Combat 6. Big fan of the Ace Combat series. Pretty much got all the games. I do need to get some of the early Air Combat games for the PS1. I've got the first one, but I don't think I've got 2 or 3. They're getting really hard to find now. But if I get them, I've pretty much got all the series. Alien vs Predator. I'm going to go through these pretty quickly because, as you can see, there's 208 of them. So I'll be here all day if I spend 5 or 10 minutes talking about every game. Alien vs Predator, brilliant reimagining of the series. I played the original 2 games on the PC. They were fantastic games. Another, you know, sort of game that kind of got mediocre reviews, but you know, this is 3 full games, and you can pick this up for like £2. full Alien campaign, full Predator, full Marine campaign, and they're all really good, and it's really clever how they all sort of interweave with each other. So there's bits in the Predator campaign you'll come across where you'll see the Marines or the aliens, and then in the Marine campaign you'll come to the same point in the same story, but see that story from another point of view, from the Marine point of view or from the alien point of view. It's a really clever concept. I would have liked to have seen maybe a sequel to that. Next we've got Aliens Colonial Marines. I'm one of the few people that actually really liked this game. I really enjoyed it. I can see why it got a lot of hate. It's not the best Aliens game out there. It is very generic in places. It was broken as well at launch. I originally got this on Steam, I think on PC, and it had a lot of bugs in it when it first launched. But it's been patched, and I've played it through since and had a lot of fun with it. It really does actually capture that Aliens atmosphere, where it lacks in some other places. It does catch that Aliens atmosphere, so it's a really good game. Alpha Protocol, fantastic RPG. If you've not played it, it's basically Mass Effect, but in a spy setting rather than future, space setting. It's kind of a Bond version of Mass Effect. You still got those branching dialogue lines, and it's got the shooting in it, except it's just in a different sort of setting. It's a really good game. And one game that I finished, I think originally played this on PS3 actually originally, but I keep meaning to go back and replay it again on the 360. Amped 3, great snowboarding game. I've got the original 2 on the original Xbox. This is the third one. Much underrated, really good snowboarding game if you like your snowboarding titles. The Chronicles of Riddick, Assault on Dark Athena, another game originally that I played on. Well, I played the original game on the original Xbox many years ago. I remember living with my mate at the time, and he had the original Xbox, and he got this, and he was a big Riddick fan anyway. He loved the films, the film Pitch Black, and he got this, and this more than Halo even, this game blew me away graphically. It was well ahead of its time. It really pushed the envelope graphically at the time. Of course, this also includes the other campaign, which is Assault on Dark Athena, which is just as good as Escape from Butcher Bay. So, Band Hero, yeah, I'm a kind of a guilty pleasure if you like. I'm a massive fan of rhythm genre games, and there's quite a few on this, as you'll see as I go through them. And I've got pretty much all the Guitar Hero games. The only one I haven't got, I think, is the Greatest Hits one, which was like a compilation game of all the other songs that have been cherry picked from the other games. But yeah, big fan of that genre. So Band Hero. Bank Shot Brilliance 2. This was a really old game. This is one of the first games I got when I got the 360. One of the first downloadable titles that I ever downloaded off Xbox Live Arcade. Yeah, it was just like a billiards kind of pool game, really good pool game. I don't think you can get it anymore. A lot of these games that are downloaded, like the arcade games, I have to go into my download list and retrieve them, but you can't actually go onto the store anymore and buy them, and that's another reason, really good reason to buy an external hard drive. There's quite a few games that I've downloaded from my download list that they just don't sell on the store anymore. You can only get them if they're on your download list. Battlefield Bad Company 2, great game. Battleship, this was the one based on the film. This was kind of slated, and it's not the greatest game in the world, but it's got some really neat ideas. It's kind of a two-pronged game. It's a first-person shooter, but then there's sections in it where you actually go into a game of Battleship and kind of strategically playing Battleship, and then you kind of go down into the first person shooter again. It's a weird concept, but it's quite an interesting one, and I quite liked it. So yeah, a really cheap game. It's a budget title, but it's fairly good fun. Battle Stations Pacific, fantastic. Battle Stations Midway, great military sort of I wouldn't say the simulators, but military games. Of course, the thing about these two games is you get to play as a warship, a plane pilot, and a submarine commander all in one game, and you can swap on the fly between them all. So Pacific's probably the slightly better one. It's got 2 campaigns. Midway was the original one. But Pacific, when it came out, you can play. It's got 2 full campaigns, one from the American side and one from the Japanese side. Really, really good games. The original Bad Company. Again, originally I think I played that on. No, I think it must have been the second one I played on PC. I don't know if the first one came out on PC. I can't remember. No, I think I played this on Xbox originally, and then the second one came out on PC. Bionic Commando. Great budget title. I haven't played much of it, to be honest, because this is another game I had on Steam, I think. But yeah, Bionic Commando. Another game that kind of got slated, but it's a good fun platformer. I know there's a lot of advertising in this game. You go through a lot of sections where there's drinks machines and billboards with Pepsi and stuff written on them. It kind of got hammered for that at the time. Sorry about the noise in the background. That's my little boy losing his rag at Fortnite, probably. Next game is Black Site Area. What's it called? Well, it's called Black Site, but I think the full title was Black Site Area 51. Great first-person shooter, sort of based around Area 51, and aliens landed in the desert, and you're kind of part of this military unit that has to go investigate, and all these kind of aliens come down, and yeah, it's a Midway kind of shooter game, but it's really good. Another first-person shooter. I'm going to do a list, I think, soon of underrated first-person shooters for 7th Gen, and that'll be on it because that's a great game. Blazing Angels. I love my flight sim games. Again, as you'll see as I go through this list, I love kind of any kind of authentic flight sim games. This one's okay. It's not my favourite one, but it's okay. I've also got Blazing Angels 2, but I've got that on the PlayStation 3. I've yet to find a copy of that on Xbox 360. I keep keeping an eye out for it so I can put it in with this one, and I can trade the other one in, but I always see this one around, but I never see the second one around on Xbox 360. Body Count, another fantastic first person shooter. I was actually playing this this morning. I've got this on PlayStation 3 and I actually picked it up about 2 days ago for the 360, so I'm kind of replaying it. It's brilliant first person shooter. Some really interesting mechanics, great graphics in it. I've actually done a gameplay video of this that I've recorded the first hour of it, playing through it, that I need to put up on the channel, but it's such an underrated first person shooter. It's fantastic. Borderlands, the original Borderlands, got this. I've got all the DLC for it, so that's installed. I've also got Borderlands 2 on Xbox 360 with all the DLC because I bought it at the time. A big fan of the Borderlands series. I rebought the is it the Handsome Jack Collection, whatever it was called, on the, I think I've got it on the Xbox One, hence why I haven't got Borderlands 2 installed on the 360, because it's also on that. And then there's the pre-sequel one. I wasn't big fan of that. I've started playing that about a month ago. Couldn't really get into it. I don't know why. It was just lacking something for me. I'll have to restart it, maybe give it another go. But Borderlands 1 and 2, fantastic games. Bully Scholarship Edition. This is one I bought on an Xbox 360 sale a while ago. This is going to be controversial, but it's not my favourite game, Rockstar game at all, Bully. I just don't know. I've tried to restart Bully about 3 or 4 times, and I don't know. It's the whole being in a school thing. It just doesn't really. It doesn't grip me. I don't get it really that much. I can play Grand Theft Auto till the cows come home and love it, but Bully just doesn't really do anything for me. I keep restarting it and retrying it, and then I kind of get bored about an hour and a half into it, kind of just wandering around the grounds and kids chasing me and stuff. I don't know. I know my eldest played it quite a lot when he was a teenager, and he liked it, but I just couldn't get into it. So Burnout Revenge, fantastic. Probably my second favourite Burnout game next to Paradise. Again, I used to have Paradise for the 360, but Recently got the remastered edition, so I traded that one in. But Burnout Revenge is fantastic. I think that's playable on the Xbox One as well, is it? Yeah. All these, actually, you can see on the bottom, any games you can play on the Xbox One, it says underneath. So that's another good reason for having them sort of listed like this. You can always sort of get them and go, oh, I'll get the disc and I'll reinstall it on Xbox One if you've got one. Although I don't really see the point. I haven't got any of these installed on the Xbox One. So Command and Conquer. What did I say? Legacy of Kain? I'm thinking of Kane. That's why I said Legacy of Kain. Yeah, it says Kane's Wrath. Command and Conquer Kane's Wrath, which was sort of a DLC add-on that they brought out for the original Command and Conquer Tiberian Wars. I love strategy games, and it's really nice when you can chill out on a console and play one. This is a great sort of add-on pack, but they released it as a standalone. A couple of Call of Duties here, so I've got Call of Duty 3, Call of Duty Black Ops, which is my favourite Call of Duty, Call of Duty Classic, which is the first game. The one I haven't got is Call of Duty 2. Again, I've got quite a few Call of Duty games on PC, hence I've never really got round to rebuying them on the Xbox 360, but I'll probably get round to buying them, especially Call of Duty 2, because my PC copy doesn't work anymore. So, Call of Juarez, fantastic western if you like your western shooters. And there's Call of Juarez Bound in Blood, which is the immediate sequel. I've got the other one, which you'll see further along, which is what I was talking about before. It doesn't always list them in order. Avatar the game. This is a great game. This is one of the few games that you can play on in 3D as well on the 360 if you've got a 3D TV. Which I'm lucky, I've got a 3D TV, so some games I can play in 3D. More 3D stuff came out on the PlayStation 3 really than on the Xbox 360, but that's one of the sort of few games that came out on the 360 that you can use with a 3D television. Carrier Command Gear Mission. This is a fantastic game. It's kind of half strategy, half first person shooter again, kind of driving around. You kind of go to these kind of clusters of islands, and you've got to sort of, you kind of pull up out in the sea with your carrier, and then you get these little water tank, kind of these vehicles that you can drive in water or on land, and you kind of got to go onto the islands and then take over certain points on the islands. But you can also jump out of these, and then it goes into like first person mode, and there's aliens on them, and you've got to shoot them, and then you move on to the next set of islands, and you've got to go around. It's a really, really good game. It's actually made by originally I think it was made by Bohemia Interactive, who made the original Operation Flashpoint. But it's a really good game, and if you can pick it again, you can pick it up for next to nothing. I highly recommend it. This one makes me laugh. Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Now, I actually had this game on PlayStation 1, and this is something that I'm going to do another video about at some point, about why we collect. I did post on the channel a couple of years ago that I found it on PlayStation 1 in a charity shop, and I sold it. Not because I don't like the game, but because I already had it on Xbox Live Arcade, and it looks better. And this is where we come back to, why do you buy games? Do you buy them as an investment, or do you buy them to play, or do you buy them to just stick on the shelf and have a look at? And for me, it was great having it in a collection, and it was worth a lot of money, but it was just sat there not being played because I already had it on Xbox Live Arcade anyway. So I ended up selling it anyway and got quite a bit of money for it. But some people I've spoken to on YouTube and stuff and said, I can't believe that I sold it. I probably should have kept all of it because it's worth double what I sold it for now. But it is what it is, and I got that money and spent it on something that I did want, so it wasn't a problem. Chrome Hounds are really, really good kind of mech, really early Xbox mech game. I remember playing that a lot in multiplayer when I first got the 360 many years ago. Civilization Revolution, love the Civ games, and this is a good sort of console version of it. I have since got this, they brought out a sort of a mini sequel to this on the PlayStation Vita that I probably played a little bit more. I do prefer the original Civ game on the PC. It's a lot deeper. This is kind of a console dumbed down version. The maps are a lot smaller, it's not as detailed, but it's still a lot of fun to play. Got Black Ops 2, World at War. There's the other Call of Juarez game, The Cartel. This is the one that got slated. Originally, again, I think I played this on the PS3 originally. I actually didn't like it the first time I played it. Not because it was buggy and everything like everyone else said. I think I was so ingrained into it being a Western, the original, I couldn't get into it being like in a modern setting. But I did go back and play it again not long ago. I didn't play all of it, I played about half of it. I actually got quite into it. It's very clunky and buggy in places, but it's actually quite a fun game actually when you get into it, if you can look past all that. Command and Conquer Tiberian Wars, again what I was talking about before. Condemned, fantastic. If you like your survival horror games, this is fantastic, all in first person. This is again one of the reasons I bought. This was a launch title for 360, and this was one of the games that made me buy a 360. I think I got this on launch along with Oblivion and something else. I can't remember what the other game was. I got Condemned, Oblivion, and there was another game, but I can't remember what it was. But this is a great game. Lots of melee combat in it. Really scary in places. Quite a few little jump scares and stuff. Condemned 2, the sequel. Conflict and IDOPS. This is a really good game. I've had this on PC years ago, and I recently rebought it on the 360. This is a really good sort of game where you play two soldiers. A bit like Army of Two, really, if you ever played Army of Two. But it's in first person, and you kind of swap between the soldiers at any point on the fly. And you can order your teammate around, so you can order him to go over there and sort of outflank people, and then you can either be him, and then you press the button and then you fly to the other fella, and one of them will be a sniper, and the other one will be like a machine gunner, and you can swap between them on the fly. And then you get some really good. I got into the second mission playing it about a week and a half ago, and you unlock, as you go through each mission, you unlock new guns and new gadgets. And I had this really cool gun which I could kind of shoot around corners with. Has a little screen on it, you can sort of look around the corner on the screen and shoot people, and it was really good. I was having so much fun with it. It's a great game, so if you haven't played it, I highly recommend it. The first level's not great on it, but once you get past that very first level and onto the second level, you can actually choose which missions to do. Then it goes to like a globe, and you can choose where to go in the world and which mission to do. It's fantastic. Crackdown, fantastic game. Crackdown 2, not really a great sequel. I didn't like Crackdown 2 at all. I don't think Crackdown 3 is ever coming. But yeah, Crackdown 1's fantastic game. Crisis, this is the original Crisis that came out on the PC. They released it many years later on the 360, and it's a great port. There's little sections missing. The map's not quite as big. There are little bits of it. If you're quite familiar with the original game on the PC, which I am because I played it through so many times, there are little chunks of it missing on this game, but nothing that important. This is a great port. It's one of the few games, as you can see, I got the full gamer score for. I got every achievement in it, which doesn't normally happen with me. So Crisis 3, I haven't got Crisis 2 on the 360 at the moment. I have got Crisis 2 and 3 on the PlayStation 3, and they're the kind of two games on the PS3 that run at 1080p as well, so I've never really got around to buying Crisis 2. Damage Inc., another flight sim. It's okay. Not one of the better ones. It was actually made by Mad Catz, and I think it was really made just to sell the peripheral that came with it, which originally was like a flight stick. But you could buy the game on its own. I picked it up in a game in one of the 2-for-1s a while back, and it was only like, I think it was like £2 or something. So I thought I'd pick it up. Dante's Inferno, fantastic kind of God of War type game where you play as Dante and you've got to go through the 12 circles of hell. Brilliant game. In some ways, I even prefer that game to some of the God of War games. So it's a really, really dark game, really disgusting in places. Obviously, you're going through hell, you're seeing all these demons and monsters, but it's really, really good. Very graphic, not one to play in front of the kids. We've got Dark, which is kind of a stealth vampire game. You basically play this guy here, and he's a vampire, but you kind of got to creep around various locales and stealth out, and you get all these powers, like we can just sort of appear in front of people and kill them, and you've got to kind of drain their blood. There's little bits in this actually that kind of pop up on that new vampire game that's just come out. Little ideas. The only thing I don't like about it, I actually really like this game. It's a really good, tough stealth game, but the only thing I really dislike about it is the checkpoint system is dreadful in it. You can die and you have to go back like 25 minutes and replay a whole section again because it's set checkpoints. You can't save wherever you want, which is really annoying. Another old game, Dark Sector. Another game I originally played on the PS3. Dark Void. This is a brilliant game, a Capcom game. If you haven't played Dark Void, play it. It's brilliant. It's so cheap and easy to get hold of. I always see it in thrift stores and charity shops and places. It's basically, remember that film The Rocketeer? Years ago. It's basically that. You're basically this pilot. He crash lands in the middle of the war on this planet. It turns out it's in another dimension or something, and there's all these robots on it and this alien technology, and he manages to get hold of this kind of rocketeer suit where he can fly around. It's a really good kind of cover shooter, a lot of verticality in it and stuff. Very good. Darwinia Plus, again, like I said, I love my strategy games. Big fan of Darwinia on the PC. I actually like Multiwinia, which is included in this, which is the strategy game where you can go against opposing teams. It's a very odd concept. Just watch some YouTube videos on Darwinia, but it's a fantastic game. Deadfall Adventures. I actually did a review of this game on my old channel when I used to do reviews, which I should go back to doing some reviews really if I can find the time. This is one of the brilliant first person shooter. Almost you play Alan Quatermain, and it's sort of who's the hero of like King Solomon's Mines and all that sort of thing. So it's very Indiana Jones-ish. It's definitely worth picking up. Some racing games. So we've got Dirt. I've got Dirt 1, Dirt 2 and Dirt 3. Love the Dirt games. I've always been a fan of the original Colin McRae rally games. I love rally games, so I've got all of them. The only one I need to pick up is Showdown. Again, I've actually got it on PC, but I need to pick up the Xbox 360 version of it. It's not my favourite one. It's probably my least favourite Showdown. It is fun, but it's more based on the Gymkhana events and the kind of arcadey part of rally. But I'm more of a bit of a purist. I like proper rally games. So Dark Messiah of Might and Magic. It's kind of a watered down port of the PC game, but it's still a fun game actually if you like your fantasy games. Doom 3, fantastic. This is Xbox One compatible. I did actually put this originally on the Xbox One, and it looks amazing graphically. I don't know if they've done some kind of upscale on it. When I played it on the Xbox One, it looked brilliant. So Doritos Crash Course, that was a free game I got many years ago on the arcade. Dead to Rights Retribution, fantastic game. Basically play this cop with a dog, and yeah, it's got stealth sections in with a dog. It's hard to explain unless you played it, but I played the original 2 games on the PS2 and was a big fan of them. Yeah, this is like the last game they made of it. But it's got some really cool sections where you actually play the cop's dog, and he's creeping into sort of areas and creeping around taking out dudes. So you just kind of send your dog in ahead of you, and he goes around stealthing around and takes out all the dudes before you go in there with the gun and clear up. It's a really good game. Duke Nukem Forever, I liked it. Don't judge me. I thought it was okay. Good fun, old-fashioned shooter. Dungeon Defenders, just an old arcade game that I got many years ago on Xbox Arcade. I think I might have got that for free. I got a code for it or something. Eat Led, The Legend of Matt Hazard. That's a really fun kind of third-person shooter. It's not perfect. It's definitely got its flaws, but it's kind of a budget title. But it's really funny in places and very self-referential on video games. It kind of really takes the piss out of video games. You actually play a video game hero in it that gets transported to all these different types of genre of games. It's a lot of fun. Definitely worth picking up. I've got the Fear trilogy, so you've got Fear, Fear 2 and Fear 3, and also Fear Files. One of the very few games that doesn't download a thumbnail on Xbox Live, I don't know why. All fantastic shooting games. I loved Fear 3 especially, I really enjoyed that. I think Fear 2 was probably the weakest, and Fear Files is like a pack you can get with two add-ons for the original game. Fable 2. I need to pick up Fable 3. No one seems to like Fable 3, but I really loved it. I played all the way through Fable 3 and enjoyed it. So, Far Cry Classic, another one a bit like the Crysis game that I showed you before, a total remaster of the original Far Cry game. Brilliant game, tough as nails. The original game was tough as nails. So, Farming Simulator. Why not? Gotta do a little bit of farming. Nice chill out game. I haven't really played that much. I think I picked it up in a sale. My dad's a massive Farming Simulator fan. He could wipe the floor with anyone on Farming Simulator, but I'm just not that good at it. That's the original one that came out. I think I got it in a sale for like £2. I thought I'd give it a go because they're kind of pretty good management games. Fatal Inertia, sort of a low budget rip off of Wipeout. Far Cry Instinct's Predator. This is a collection of the two games that were bought out on the original Xbox, put into one package. So I have actually got these two games already on original Xbox, but this is the disc-based version of it, if you like. They came out as a package for they kind of not remastered them, but they bought them out on 360 as well. Fight Night Champion. I used to like Fight Night 3, and I found this in a charity shop about a month ago for £1, so I thought I'd give it a go. I haven't played it yet, but I used to like Fight Night 3, and I think this one's got a story in it where you start off in prison as like a fighter, and you've got to work your way through the hierarchy of the prison, beating the crap out of people. Flat Out Ultimate Carnage, brilliant racing game. Load to Destruction. I did play the new one recently. Was it Flat Out 4? Or Flat Out Insanity, or whatever it was called. I can't remember what it was called, and I've got to be honest, I was very disappointed in it. Not so much the graphics and the system of progression, I thought that was great, but the handling on the cars was dreadful. Very slippy slidey, but this is the best one. The makers of this one, Bugbear, have just released a new game on the PC, and I do believe it's coming to consoles, called Wreckfest, which is supposed to be fantastic. So yeah, I'm going to probably pick that one up. I know the last Flat Out game was made by a different developer, but these guys have made a new game called Wreckfest, and it's supposed to be very, very good. So, Forza Horizon, fantastic game. I do need to pick up Forza Horizon 2. I think they're giving it away free on Xbox Live this month, but I haven't got Xbox Live. So I need to pick up Forza Horizon 2. Frontlines Fuel of War. Another great shooter, loads of gadgets, like a military shooter, where you can actually see the battlefield changes as you're kind of winning or losing a fight. It's really good, but it's another backwards compatible game on the Xbox One. Fuel, which is okay. It's got a massive map on it, but I didn't think graphics are a bit dodgy. I think on that game, they're a bit kind of blurry looking. Wasn't overly blown away by it, I've got to be honest. Full Auto, fantastic game. Love the Full Auto. Again, this is the other game. I said before, when I bought the Xbox originally, I got 3 games with it. I got Condemned, Oblivion, and Full Auto was the other game. I used to play this loads. I used to hammer this game. Loads of fun. Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter, fantastic military kind of shooter. Of course, you've got the Gears of War games, all 4 of them. I'm actually not a massive Gears of War fan, but I do like to dip in and out of them. The last one on the Xbox One, actually, Gears of War 4, I really enjoyed. I got hooked on that one, but I've never really got hooked on any of the others. I have actually got the remaster of the first one as well on Xbox One that I keep meaning to replay. I do like Gears of War, and when I get into it, I'm in the right frame of mind. I really enjoy it, but I've got to be in the right frame of mind to play it. Guitar Hero Warriors of Rock, like I said before, I love the rhythm action games, so you'll see quite a few of these here. Ghost Recon 2, Guitar Hero 5, Guitar Hero 3, Guitar Hero Metallica, Guitar Hero Van Halen, Guitar Hero World Tour, and Guitar Hero Aerosmith. Yeah, I love my rhythm action games. I've still got my original Warriors of Rock guitar. Gun, another great Western game. This mostly came out on last gen, on the 6th gen, but it did release for the Xbox 360 as well, which is the best version of the game. It's a really good game, really good shooting mechanics. Halo 3. I'm not the biggest Halo fan. I do like Halo. Don't get me wrong, I do like Halo. Hence, I've got the old Master Chief behind me here, but it's not my favourite. I haven't got that nostalgia trip like some people do. I remember sitting there watching my flatmate. Like I said, back in the day, I had a PS2 and he had an Xbox original, and I remember watching him play it, and I used to just sit for hours watching him play Halo, probably wishing that I had an original Xbox. So I do like the Halo games, but you know, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not like a mega fan like some people, but I do enjoy them. So Halo Wars, Halo Reach, Heroes Over Europe, which is another that's a really good sort of another flight sim. You'll see quite a few of these on here. I love my flight sims. Hexic HD, free arcade game. I actually got that when I got the 360 when it released. Hitman Absolution, love the Hitman games. Homefront, not a big fan of the first game, but loved the last one that came out, Revolution. I don't know why, I didn't really like the first game that much. I just thought it was pretty mediocre, which I don't know why I bought the second one. I think I like the graphics on it. I like the system of the guns on it. But yeah, Hydrophobia, another arcade title I got many years ago. Again, you can't buy this on the store anymore. It was in my download list. Loads like a watery kind of platform. You play this girl and she's stuck on this base that's basically sinking into the sea and you've got to get out. It was supposed to be in a couple of parts, that game, but because the first part didn't sell very well, they never ever made the sequel to it. IL-2 Sturmovik, Birds of Prey, another fantastic military flight sim. Import Tuna Challenge. There's no picture for this one. This is basically a racing game. Yeah, kind of all set in Japan on the freeways and stuff like that. It's a really good racing game, but there's no picture on the thing there. Inversion, another great shooter, kind of third-person shooter where the world kind of tilts. It's kind of cover shooter, but like 1 minute you'll be stood on the floor, then you've got this device where you can stand on the walls and the whole world kind of tilts. So you're kind of shooting from behind cover on a wall or on a ceiling. It's really weird, but really good. Kind of along the lines of Gears of War. Juice 2, another great racing game. Just Cause, love the Just Cause series, love all of them. Just Cause 2 is one of my favourite games of all time. I must have played through that game about 4 or 5 times on the PlayStation 3. I have played it on the Xbox 360, but I haven't finished on it. But it's another game I'm gonna go. There's a certain set of games I always go back and replay, and Just Cause 2 is one of them. Just Cause 3 was a lot of fun, but there was something missing in Just Cause 3 that wasn't, for me, as good as Just Cause 2. But I'm looking forward to the new one coming out. Kane and Lynch 2, fantastic kind of crime capers, really cheap to pick up. King Kong, really good first-person action game actually. Based on, there's not many games based on movies that are really that good, but that one is a really good one because you get to play the humans with the guns, but you also get to play the ape as well at some points in the game, so that's a lot of fun. Kingdoms of Amulet, The Reckoning, Kingdom Under Fire, Circle of Doom. I basically only picked that up because I've got the other two Kingdom Under Fire games on the original Xbox. Lara Croft, Guardian of Light. I'll buy anything with Tomb Raider in. I'm a massive Tomb Raider fan. They're kind of top-down, isometric adventure games, but a lot of fun. I've also got the other one. I can't remember what it's called on the PS4. That's Guardian of Light. The other one's called, what's it called? Something of Osiris, but that's a really good game as well. Legendary, a really good first-person shooter. Kind of a budget one, but all these kind of legendary sort of creatures from Greek mythology and all that kind of get transported into modern-day New York and start ripping the place apart. It's all sort of set around the legend of Pandora's box and all that, but it is a budget shooter, but it's a lot of fun. Got the Lost Planet trilogy, so Lost Planet 1, Lost Planet 2, Lost Planet 3, great game. I haven't played 3 yet, I keep meaning to get around to starting 3. I played 1 and 2, but I still haven't got around to playing 3. Lord of the Rings War in the North. Love Lord of the Rings, so anything Lord of the Rings related I'll buy. Big fan of the films, so yeah, I have played that. I played it on PS3 because they gave it away on PS3, and yeah, it's kind of an RPG where you can play as a dwarf, a warrior, I think an elf or a warrior, and you're kind of battling through Middle Earth. So Marble Blast Ultra, that's another arcade game that you can only get now if it's in your download list. Max Payne 3, fantastic game. Played right through that. Actually, yeah, didn't get many of the achievements, but played right through it pretty much in one weekend when it came out. I loved it that much. I love all the Max Payne games. Yeah, some people didn't like the change of setting and everything, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. Medal of Honor, another great game that they kind of updated it to modern day to fit in with the kind of trend at the time. I really liked it. I thought it was a great game. Most other people didn't. Metal Gear Solid Rising, I picked that up for £1, I think. I'm a big fan of Metal Gear Solid. Not so much Rising. It's kind of a spin-off game. It's not really anything to do with the original Metal Gear games. So Ground Zeroes, really good, kind of a tech demo really for Metal Gear Solid 5. Got to have Minecraft on there because I played with a little boy. I think we must have Minecraft in this house on every single system. Medal of Honor Airborne, probably my favourite Medal of Honor. Absolutely love Medal of Honor Airborne. I love the way that at the beginning of each level you can parachute in to different parts of the map and approach each level how you want to approach it. Fantastic idea. I'd love them to go back and make that game again, but with even more modern graphics. I wish that game had been successful, so they made a sequel. I just love the way you can parachute in. Every time you die, you parachute in as another paratrooper, and just anywhere on the map. And it was great. You used to come down from above, and you'd see the entire map as you were parachuting in. It was fantastic. Medal of Honor Warfighter got absolutely mauled on release, and yet it came out about, I think it came out about the same time as Modern Warfare 3 or one of the other Call of Duties. It might have been the original Black Ops, and it got mauled, but it's a really good game, and it's actually better than the first one, I think. So Morphex, kind of a zombie kind of shooting game, whatever. Naval Assault, which is sort of a submarine sim thing. Then we get to some of the racing games. So we've got Need for Speed The Run, Need for Speed Carbon. I love Need for Speed. Need for Speed Shift, fantastic game. Never Dead, I don't know why that's in the middle of the Need for Speed games, which is sort of action horror arcade game by Konami, where you can take your head off and roll it at people and it explodes, and then you pick it up and put it back. It's weird. You kind of pull your limbs off and hit people with them. Need for Speed, Hot Pursuit, Most Wanted, Pro Street, which is my least favourite Need for Speed, Undercover, Most Wanted again, Ninja Gaiden 2, hard ninja game, Oblivion, fantastic game, fantastic game, love that game. Operation Flashpoint Red River. First one was good, the second one was pretty mediocre actually, but the first one was really good. Immersive City of Gangsters, basically it's XCOM strategy game but in a gangster setting. It's weird. I've also got that on PC. A lot of this generation of games I had on PC, so I'm kind of rebuying them for the 360 now, because some of them don't work on the PC, or you know, things like that. Overg Fighters, which is a flying game, again there's no picture there, but one of the really early flying games for the 360, kind of combat, a little bit like Assault Horizon. Next up we've got Prey, the original Prey, which is nothing like the reboot or the remake. It wasn't a remake, was it? It was just a totally different thing with the same name, but a really good first person shooter game. You play this Mojave kind of Indian who gets basically abducted by aliens and taken up to this ship where it's kind of going around sucking up pieces of earth, and it's really fucked up game where it really plays with your head, where you kind of walk through, you'll be walking along a room, a corridor, and walk through a door, and you'll be on the same corridor but walking along the ceiling, and then it's really, you'll see where you've just been but you're on the ceiling. It really is a good game, much underrated. Prince of Persia: The Forgotten Sands, love Prince of Persia games. I've got the original trilogy on PS3. I keep them on PS3 because it's an original trilogy and I can play them in 3D on the PS3. But this is like the fourth game that came out, I think. Oh, that was the fifth. There was that one with all the cell shading as well. And this kind of went back to the sands of time. And it came out around the same time as the Prince of Persia film. But it's really, really good, and it was really overlooked at the time, which was a shame. Pure, really fun, kind of quad bike game. Quake 4. Quake's Quake. Don't have to say much about Quake. Somebody will have to track this down, because if you buy it, it comes with another disc which has got Quake 2 on it, and it's the full version of Quake 2 that you can play on the 360. But the original copy that I bought didn't have the extra disc, and it took me months to find one with the extra disc, but I did find one eventually. Race Pro, another great racing game made by Atari that kind of got overlooked because it came out around the same time as I think Forza 2, and so no one really took much notice of it. It's a bit more bare bones than Forza 2, but it's a fun racing game, really hard. I could barely get around the first track. Rainbow Six Vegas 1 and 2, fantastic games. I think it's an absolute abomination what they've done to Rainbow Six, although I can see why people like it. You know, just to know that they'll never make a really good Rainbow Six game again, it's just all going to be online, kills me. Because it was one of my very favourite series ever. I played them all right from the original PC ones, where you did all the planning and you have to plan all the go codes and coordinate your teams, and now it's just an online shooter like every other fucking online shooter. So I miss the original Rainbow Six. Red Dead Redemption, great game. Remember hammering this back in the day. I've got a confession to make. I've never finished the game. I got very near to finishing it, but I know what happens. I've seen videos, so you know, don't worry about telling me the ending or anything. But I never actually finished the game. So Red Faction Armageddon, fantastic game. I'm actually just bought Red Faction Guerrilla on the PS4, the remaster, which I'm playing through. Which I've also got the 360, but I didn't bother installing it because I've just bought the remaster. So Ridge Racer 6, Ridge Racer Unbounded, love my racing games, so they've got to be in there. Rock Band, again, Rock Band 1, Rock Band 3. I did have Rock Band 2, but you can transfer all the songs out of 2 into 3, so there wasn't really any point having the disc anymore. So that's actually another game that you can't buy anymore on the Xbox store. You've got to have had it in your download list. It's been me ages. I kept wondering, I found it on a store, but it wasn't for purchase, and I couldn't figure out how I was going to get it back with all the songs that I had for it. I must have like something like 500 songs for Rock Band on download, and I had to go into my download list and go down like 3 years back to find it. Rock Band Blitz, which is kind of an arcade version of Rock Band that you can play without a guitar. Rockstar Table Tennis, fantastic. Secret Service, quite a fun first-person shooter where you're basically playing a member of the Secret Service. The country gets kind of invaded, and you got to protect the president, and then you go off and they kind of broken into the White House, and you're going all around the White House shooting all these baddies that have broken into the White House and into Congress and around Washington. It's a lot of fun. Section 8, which is sort of it's a weird game. Yeah, it's cool. It's a bit like Battlefront, as in you got to take areas on a map, but you can play it offline, single player, and it's got a really good mechanic where you kind of drop in from the sky in this pod and then land, so it's really good. Shaun White's Snowboarding. Currently playing this, one of the best skateboarding, one of the best skateboarding games I've played in ages. A lot of fun. I might do a separate video on this because I'm enjoying it so much. It's got a really different take on it. Just watch some videos online and you'll see what I mean, but it's kind of, you've got to skate to take back areas of a city. And it's all colour coded. I can't really explain it at the moment, but it's a really good skateboarding game. Need for Speed Shift 2. The reason why that's under S and not under N is because they just called it Shift 2. Singularity, fantastic game. I played this right through from beginning to end originally, and I replayed it about a week and a half ago in 2 nights. And it's funny, I was literally installing it onto the hard drive and thought I'd have a quick go, and ended up playing the whole game through again in 2 nights. Brilliant first person shooter made by Raven. Brilliant first person shooter. Little tones of time shift and what's that other game, Bioshock in there, you know, as well. Just little elements, you know, the feeling and where you've got to pick up recordings and things to get the narrative, but really good game. Skate 3, Sniper Elite version 2. Love the Sniper Elite series. I've got all of them. I haven't got the DLC on this simply because I own it on PC as well, and I do have to admit the PC version of Sniper Elite is far superior than the 361, so I tend to play it, when I do play V2, I tend to play it on the PC, but it's a fantastic game. Sniper Ghost Warrior, great game. I need to get the second one of these. Again, I think I've got it on Steam, but I'd quite like to rebuy it for the 360 to have the sort of the set. Spec Ops: The Line, fantastic game. Originally I played on PC, got it again to replay it on the 360. Splinter Cell, love all the Splinter Cell games. So we've got Double Agent, Blacklist, Conviction. Just I've hammered all these games and finished them. Massive Splinter Cell fan. So as you can see, because I've got, well, probably I don't know if you can see it, but I've got Sam Fisher sat here next to me. Star Trek Legacy, really good kind of Star Trek strategy game. You don't really see Star Trek games anymore. They just brought that one out for VR, which is what's it called? Something Crew, Bridge Crew or something. But I think you co-op, you need to play with other people. So unfortunately, I haven't bothered getting that. Otherwise, I would have got it. I would have loved to have sat in the captain's chair and made all these decisions. But as far as I can tell, I think you've got to play with other people. So. Big Air Edition, Stoked Big Air Edition, really good skateboarding, snowboarding game. Stranglehold, fantastic kind of Max Payne slow-mo shooter, brilliant, really easy to get hold of. Superman Returns, I've also got this on the PS3 I think, but I picked this up not long ago because I saw it really cheap, and it was obviously graphically slightly better, although not much better, I've got to say. on the 360. Sean White's Snowboarding. Again, I love my snowboarding games. Syndicate. Tenchu Z, fantastic. This was the last Tenchu game. I've got all the Tenchu games. And this was the last one they released. Made by From Software, who obviously went on to make Dark Souls. Really good ninja games. Really good ninja, kind of creeping around on rooftops, taking people out and hiding in shadows. Proper ninja experience. Terminator Salvation. Good cover-based shooter, based, yeah, better than the film. Actually, I quite like the film. I don't know why it gets so much hate. I actually thought Terminator Salvation was a pretty good film. I much preferred it to Genesis, so, which I didn't like at all. So yeah, Terminator Salvation. Test Drive Unlimited 2, another great driving game. Tony Hawk's Proving Ground. Beatles Rock Band. Obviously, being from Liverpool, I love the Beatles. Born Conspiracy, really good sort of game. Not based on the films either, based on the books. So this is kind of based on the first book, where you start out in the sea and then, but there's no Matt Damon lookalike in it. The Bureau, The Club, fantastic sort of shooter. Chaos Crusade, which is a decent kind of hack and slash, kind of medieval hack and slash, but it's got so much dialogue in it, that game. I think like the first 20 minutes you're just watching people talking. The Godfather 2, fantastic game. As you can see, I'm one achievement away from getting the full 1,000 gamer points on that game. So I'm going to have to kind of go back into it, and I think I'm halfway through my second playthrough on it. And the only achievement I need is to get all the executions, so I'm kind of working on that. I've already got the platinum on it on PS3 as well. It's one of the few games I've got a platinum of, but I'm determined to get it on here as well. It's probably one of my favourite games of all time. The Orange Box, fantastic. I have got these on PC, but again, it's nice to chill out with the old controller and play them on a console. And you've got Episode 2. Episode 1 and the original Half-Life 2 on there as well as Portal. So yeah, the Outfit, really old kind of military sort of third-person action game. The Saboteur, probably my favourite game of this generation, along with Just Cause 2. I could just endlessly replay The Saboteur. Absolutely love it. I love the setting. I love the gameplay of it. I love the variety. I'm gonna go and play that again soon. I just love that game. Time Shift, a fantastic shooter. Hawks 1 and 2. Again, more great flight sims. Got Tony Hawk's Project 8, Top Gun Hardlock. This is a really good game. This is yeah, kind of Jet Fighter action game, but really fast paced, really frenzied, and kind of cameras up. It's like being in Top Gun the film. Yeah, it's kind of, you're all over the place and you're shifting focus from one plane to another, and it kind of zooms in and kind of a follow. It's really good. Toy Soldiers 1 and Toy Soldiers Cold War. If you like your tower defense games, they're great games, sort of set in a toy box, like a kid's toy box setting, where you've kind of got to set up your toy soldiers and then all these troops come in and try and invade and you've got to stop them. Really good. Transformers Fall of Cybertron and War for Cybertron, kind of okay, kind of action shooters. Not the massive Transformers fan, but these were highly recommended, so I picked them up. Trials HD, I love Trials HD, that's the original one. Turning Point for Liberty, a buggy but great underrated first person shooter, kind of set in New York, and it was kind of what would happen if the Nazis had invaded America. So a bit like that, what's that TV program, The Man in the High Castle? It's almost like a game version of that. Turok, which isn't great, but it's Turok. Walking Dead Survival Instinct, another great zombie game that really captures the feeling of kind of creeping around these small towns, trying to salvage sign of supplies and avoiding zombies. Again, it got slicey, but it's such a good game. Unto Vampire Reign, which is kind of Splinter Cell crossed with vampires. Another game that got slated, but I actually thought it was quite good fun. It's a bit basic graphically, but it's pretty decent. Velvet Assassin, fantastic stealth game set in World War II. Really, really good, really tough. I got to the last level of this game, and I couldn't get past the last level of this game. But apart from that, one day I'm going to go back and beat it. It's brilliant, brilliant stealth game. The trouble with the final level is you spend the whole game being stealthy, and for the last part of the game you can't out stealth the people, and it kind of I think it sort of turns into like a shooter or something for the last level, and it's just I don't know, I couldn't beat it. I tried, I just couldn't beat it. Wanted Weapons of Fate, it's actually better than the film. The film was okay, the game's actually really good. Warhammer Battle March, I don't know, I haven't played it. I literally picked this up yesterday. It was £1, it was 99p in the shop, and I thought I'd give it a go because it's a strategy game and I like strategy games, so I've yet to give that one a try. Wet, fantastic slow-mo shooter along the lines of Max Payne and Stranglehold, really kind of pulpy setting, kind of grindhousey sort of setting. Really, really good, a lot of fun, and we kind of string together all these moves, and you're kind of jumping off walls and around ceilings and sliding along the floor, doing all this kind of slow-mo shooting. It's a really fun game. Wheelman, kind of a Vin Diesel game, where you're kind of in a car, a bit like Driver. It reminded me a little bit of the Driver games, but there's a lot of in-game, you can kind of jump from car to car mid-fight and things like that. It's really good. Wolfenstein, probably my favourite game series of all time, and this was the 2009 game. Fantastic, again made by Raven. I think this is the game they made before Singularity. A lot of people don't like this Wolfenstein because you kind of go between two worlds, two phases, but I think it's a fantastic game. WSC 2007, that's World Snooker Championship. I do like my pool games, snooker, anything like that, and that was the best version of it. There was another one that came out, I think 2009, and it wasn't as good as that one. I think this is where it reached its peak. And finally, X-Men Origins Wolverine, kind of another great sort of game based. Again, it's probably better than the film actually. The X-Men Origins film got a lot of hate. I actually quite liked it. The only bit I didn't like was what they did to Deadpool in it. But as an Origins film, I actually thought it was okay. So, but yeah, that's it. That's the 208 games I've got installed so far on my Xbox 360. So yeah, it's definitely worth buying a hard drive and installing all those games to the hard drive if you can. And like I say, I've got a list. I think of around 25 games now to complete the 360 collection, and then I'm done. I'm pretty much done for 7th gen. Maybe a handful on the PS3 as well, but I generally just go in for PS3 exclusives and games you can't get on a 360 for the PS3, with the 360 being my console of choice. So anyway, thanks for being so patient and watching. I hopefully will be back with another video soon. I intend to do some gameplay vids soon, and I'm contemplating maybe doing a couple of game reviews. I'm definitely going to do some gameplay vids as well. So anyway, and of course I'm going to come back and do some vlogs. Been hard to do anything of lately because the kids have been off, and various other commitments. I just haven't had the time to come in on the channel and do something, but I thought I'd make a bit of an effort today and come on and make a video. Thanks for sticking with me, and I shall be back with another video soon. Take care, bye.